Hey, I'm having power problems. So I might get cut off again, but I am going to go for it and see how far I can get with this. I'm going to turn up the music a little bit. Let me know if the music is overriding me too much. I don't think it is. This is my tofu redux because I'm not good enough to get a 3.0 sent to me. But I will be rebuilding this guy. I ordered a new 7U PCB from Amazon, and that should be here before the next stream, I hope, or not the next stream after it. But today, our focus is going to be this. This is my NEO65. Currently, this has the Sonic HE, and we'll take a look at that real quick. I got this board a couple of years ago. I love it. I've got the, I don't know why, what, can I mess with this camera a little bit? Let's mess with the camera a little bit. Because that's coming through like yellow. I am not jaundice. Yet. Oh, that's better. Ish. Okay, well, that's a little bit better. We'll just go with the defaults for now, and see where we end up. So, because I really wanted to show off, well, it's dirty, but here's our dusk weight. We're going to be replacing this with the brass weight instead, giving it just a little bit more weight to it, and then we'll be replacing the default PC or the Hall Effect PCB and putting back in one of the default PCBs. I think I'm going to go with the wireless. How are you doing today, man? I've been sick, but I think I'm on the mend. Oh, come on. There we go. This doesn't supply enough power to really drive the Hall Effect keyboards, so I end up having to use this cable instead. So keep that in mind if you're going to be using Hall Effect keyboards, that all cables are not created equal. I'm going to take a drink. This is not sponsored by Coca-Cola Zero, but if they wanted to, I would certainly take their sweet, sweet Coca-Cola money. Because they have no problem with taking mine. Yeah. I am all right. My power has been going in and out, like basically since 3 minutes before I was supposed to start. My power went out, and then we have solar with a battery backup, so the battery backup kicked in, and basically we've had a couple of power fluctuations that have happened since then. So if I lose it again, I'll probably just reschedule the stream for next week. But I really wanted to try to get this done because I like the Hall Effect PCB, and I'll show you the software and we'll see. There we go. Okay, I'll make this a little bit bigger. So this is the NEO65 software, which is their controller software for anybody who is curious. So here we go. Let's stretch it a little bit to the side. It has all of the standard items that you would expect. You can select the trigger or the switches. So like if we wanted to, we can go and select the Nova, which is what is actually in here. I don't know why it was on the mount ties. And then we go into switch calibration. And it does the switch calibration just automatically like this. And if we wanted to, we can go in and we can do a manual. I think this is optional. I mean, I kind of like watching the switch go down. And we're all done. Okay. So aside from that, you've got all of your standard, do you want rapid trigger? Actually, this was on profile number 2. Good. So profile number 1 is my standard profile, which I keep at an actuation point of 1.2 millimeters. But it's actually set for 1. Select all. There you go. 1.2 millimeters. There is a dead zone, and that is to stop some debounce. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. You've got your gradient up and down preset, which is kind of what I like. You can do a bunch of other things. You can do reactive with the typing heat map. You've got your socked, your RS, which is monitors 2 keys, fires the deeper key. If both of them bottom out, fire both. I like that one. TKS. Just it has everything. We can remap our keys. I love the fact that you can remap every single thing on here. As you can see, I have my standard set up with my navigation cluster here without insert, scroll lock, or pause. And then my volume controls, all pretty straightforward. And then finally, let's see if there's a firmware update. I'm all up to date. All right. So that is this. This is the NEO65 Sonic HE Hall Effect custom keyboard. Specifically, this was the drop-in kit. I think I went with the gray, so I went with this one. And that was only because since I have a navy board, I didn't want the green legend keycaps that I wasn't going to use anyway, so I don't even know why it mattered, but it did to me. And that's that. What we're going to be looking at today will be installing the brass weight in place of the mirror dusk weight. Like I said, we're navy. We are going to go with the tri-mode non-flex hot swap PCB, and then I think I'm going to go with the polycarbonate plate. I also have the palm, and then we will have the gaskets. So let's take a look at how this bad boy comes apart. So I actually get to use the QWERTY keys screwdrivers in my QWERTY keys keyboard, so that's cool. The biggest problem I'm going to have with this replacement, this particular replacement, is the fact that these feet only come with one set of black feet, and the replacement weight did not come with extra feet, nor did it come with feet installed, which means I need to remove these feet and put them on the other one. If anybody knows anything about adhesive feet, the more you remove them, the less they become adhesive. Which sucks. So we will continue to use our updated ribbon cable. Here is our brass weight. I purchased this from Keeps for All. They were the only place that I found that was actually selling the weights themselves. Since the brass weight was never part of the original setup, this brass weight still has all of its screws in the bottom. The screws were removed from here as part of the upgrade to the Hall effect. I'm actually going to take these out. And the reason for that is that if we decide to, well, maybe I'll just put the other ones back. I should have them somewhere. So, since these are all magnets, they want you to remove them when you're putting in the Hall effect PCB. Come on, you don't pop your keycaps. Just come on out. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. Thank you. All right, perfect. All right, so this came out just neat as a pin, which we like to see. Our ribbon cable, we're going to set off to the side. All right. PCB, we're going to set off to the side. Take a look in here, which is where I think I have all my screws for the bottom piece. Oh. Ooh. Maybe I don't. Look at that. I just found those. That's nice. It is a magnet, but that is not the right magnet I want. out. Gaskets, 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 springs, springs, springs. Dongle. Not in this one. Okay. But I did find one of the things I was looking for earlier for this build, which makes me very excited. Let's see. Can I find the other thing I needed? No. Okay. If not, it's fine. I already talked to them and confirmed that the magnets aren't strictly necessary for the bottom weight and can be removed without causing any issues. That being said, like I said, I will go ahead and remove these screws. Set them off to the side. Actually, I keep changing my mind. I'm gonna leave these in because I need to find where those other screws are. When I do, maybe I'll take these off, but this does not hurt anything for now. These are Phillips head, which are stupid. Because Phillips head can strip much easier than a hex. So why this was decided to be put in as. Okay, let's see, what do we got? See, I think I only have one black and 3 white or beige. So I think I'm going to use the beige on the brass. Which, while it won't match with the other feet, it will certainly work. No, I actually have, yeah, here we go. Yeah, that works. Okay. So now this has feet. We have our bottom case. This will get wrapped up and put away for when I change my mind inevitably again. When we get it all back together, y'all can help me decide whether or not the bottom looks dumb with the 2 different color feet. I don't think it's gonna, but who knows? I guess we'll find out. Okay. And then we need a PCB and plates and foam and stuff. So I have a couple of PCBs. This is my palm plate. Here's our PE sheet. Okay. This is our case foam. It should be. Yep, that's correct. So this is the HE. And then we have our, this is my tri-mode, and we're going to put our updated ribbon cable in here, so this has got to come out. That'll put it back in that bag. This is the wired only PCB. Which, similar to the HE, only supports a 6.25, whereas the wireless will support up to a 7U. Today we're going to stick with the 6.25. All of the gaskets are already installed on here, as well as that. Oh, but we are going to put our PE sheet back on here. But I'll need to cut it. Alright, so we should now be able to come in here with these. Put those in there like that, and it will match up. Great. And then same goes over here. Oh, except for this is not the right PE sheet, so that's not going to work. Do I have the right PE sheet right around here? Otherwise, we're going to go PE-less. That is not it. That is actually a PE sheet for the tofu. Nope. Okay. And we'll just forego that. The cuts around the stabs are so that I don't have to take out all the stabs in order to put in the PE sheet. So, let me get this out of the way since we're doing the build now. So if you put this down in advance, right, then the stabs will sit around it. But if you are putting in the PE sheet afterwards, to get around the wire, you have to cut basically a slit. And I do it at the opposite end from where the wire is, so that they don't poke up from the wire point. Like they'll get under and over the, well, they'll get over the wire instead of under the wire, and that could be a hassle sometimes. So, but we'll forego the PE sheet for today. which is alright because I'm going to be using butter switches, as in butter switches. That is an HMX switch. And so these are Kinetic Labs HMX butter. I think they're an HMX switch, or not, because they are different than the switches that I have that are butter. So I think they're different. Oh, that's interesting. Let me go look. But first, let me take out all the ones that were added. Which are these. These are the HMX butter, and they apparently are different than these butter switches from Kinetic Labs. Let's go looking for some information on that. Except for I have no keyboard right now. Let's go looking for some information about that later, when we have a keyboard that works. By the way, hello. How are you doing today? Happy Sunday. Let's do our corners first. They are slightly different. So if you look at them, you can see that the coloring is different. Now, whether or not they are the same switch, just slight recolors, could be the case. I mean, they have all of the same markings. But if they are different, yeah, and these are marked as Kinetic Labs, which HMX will do that, as opposed to somebody like Gateron. They don't. All Gateron switches should say Gateron, because that's how they roll. So on the NEO65, if you're going to be using your full left shift, you do have to invert the switch. And on the enter, because it supports ISO, you need to turn your enter key and your backslash to the side. So like this and this. I could split the backspace. I don't like splitting the backspace, so I'm not gonna. And then if we were doing a 7U spacebar, we would invert this, 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 and this. Since we are not inverting it, we invert just this one. And the reason for that, if you look at the bottom, so in order for them to fit properly to support both 625 and 7, they have to have the hot swap sockets at the top and the bottom. And the same with the ISO support. It's got to have all this side facing stuff so that you can get all of your wonderful keys. And then if you were to, and I'm trying to remember how that works. Yeah, so if you were to do ISO, you would turn this stabilizer to the side so that it was vertical. Why don't we do that? You know, I have no ISO boards. I'll need to go find my keycaps. But that should not be a problem. So, no, we'll leave it for today. Maybe I'll, should I do ISO support? just to show off an ISO board. No, it's just going to mess me up. I love using this keyboard so much, by the way. I recommend this keyboard to anybody. If you are in the market for 65%, I highly recommend that you think about the NEO65 or the NEO65 Core Plus, which I don't have yet and want. I just haven't gotten. So I'm so excited about so many boards right now that I'm excited about them, and then at the same time, can't afford to buy them. For instance, the Garen 60, obviously, the Vela, which is an HE board, and the Zoom 64 is coming out, and that is going to be nice, or so it looks. The new EpoMaker RT98, even though it's a budget board, the fact that you can switch the side of the numpad on a 98% or an 1800. What else is exciting? Oh, the NV70 is a really exciting board that's coming out, or is just starting to be out for group buy. Although they've had a lot of problems with people running into issues with the quality control. I'm not sure. I think everything's gotten fixed at this point. But so here's the hoping that runs smoothly. Because every time I see it, I'm like, wow, that kind of really looks cool. I've decided I like really thin light bars as accents, especially if they're well customizable. It's one of the things that's drawing me to the Zoom 64. Is the not as thin but still thin light bar around the bottom. The NV70 with the light bar at the back that runs along the back, that looks cool. I mean, it's not something that you see. It's more of something that you know is there, and you look at it occasionally, I guess, depending on who you are. Although I am building this one with the PCB that has no RGB, and that's alright too. All right, so we'll figure out the butter mystery in just a little bit. Let's get that off to the side. We'll need this to grab the keycaps off of. Excuse me. Goodness gracious, that just kind of snuck up on me. I don't know that I can do this. I can. Sorry if you were joining me from my YouTube channel, that I forgot to bring my chat up over there. So if you were asking me any questions or if you have any comments, go ahead and repost them real quick. I doubt that there was anything. Don't get too much action over there, or at least not on the actual active, but you never know. I was talking to somebody earlier who was another content creator. Oh, and then there's the Keychron Concrete Hall Effect keyboard. I mean, that's one way to keep your signals from getting any interference. Just putting it in cement. Seems like that might be one of the best ways to handle it. I was talking, was it last week? I think it was last week, about how I recently discovered that Keychron has been using TMR in most of their boards up till now, and they've just been using it apparently badly, because they don't support multiple polarities. They don't support mechanical versus Hall effect, which that's not as much of a big deal, but the fact that they don't support multiple polarities, which I think they're planning on starting to do. I don't know if it's going to be retroactive, but when I talked to them at CES, they said that was going to be a thing that was coming out with their newer boards. Which means it's important because currently you basically are restricted to their nebula switches, or at least a dual rail Gateron South Pole in a specific configuration, because I got the Jade Mini E switches. I got myself that time. Haha. Didn't cough in your ear. The Jade Mini E switches. And they were supposed to be South Pole oriented, but still didn't work for the purposes of that. And but it had a closed bottom and the ability to support dual rail stems. So I took the nebula stems out of their nebula switches and put them into the Jade Mini E. So this is the plate for the Hall effect, the Sonics. It's a carbon fiber plate. And you can see here are the sensors. And it has the gaskets, and we're going to set you off to the side. And we're going to get our ribbon cable installed here. And we're going to thread it through. This to go in here, like so. Give it a little tug and make sure it's got good contact. Then we can take this piece and move it here. And we should be able to thread it through. And the new ribbon, and the reason why I'm certainly excited to use it, is that it is significantly longer, so it's not nearly as hard to get through. All right, and there we go. So we're going to grab our cable, check to make sure before I put this down in. Yes, okay. I do in fact have contact, which means I should now just be able to push this down in here. Ah, don't go on the battery. What's your battery in about? Two screws. All right, so I think that's a very cohesive look here. I definitely like it with the combination of the legends here going kind of with our brass coloring, using the beige feet on the brass, but the black feet on the navy works, I think. Everything is in. So yeah, let's see. Let's do actually an actual sound test. So I'm going to pause this. And this is the polycarbonate plate, the non-flex cut tri-mode PCB with the brass weight, Kinetic Labs butter switches, and the KP Republic Ghost Judge Blue Samurai International keycap set. I mean, is there any question as to why this is one of my favorite keyboards? I mean, it sounds so good. And in order to turn on the wireless functionality, you would come in here. I think it's already on, which means we should just be able to do this. Or not. Let's see. Oop. There's a little on-off switch here, which you will flip down. And it should, if it works. My battery not connected. Interesting. Let's take a look at that. Mango! Holy frey holies. Thanks for the raid. How is the remainder of your stream? Big ol' raid, that's right. Yes, you did. You finally made it. All the way to actually being up late enough to raid me. So this is the NEO65. We just removed this, which is the drop-in kit for it. The drop-in kit comes with the carbon fiber plate, the Nova switches. It is a fixed layout Hall effect, which is all right, but I have other Hall effect keyboards. And I kind of love my NEO65, and I love it in a mechanical keyboard. I think it sounds like so incredibly great. So yeah, so I dropped that back in with some Kinetic Labs butter, which I'm trying to I was just about to look up and see whether or not it is different. Do I not have this in the right? No, I did not. Why aren't you doing the right thing? It's not going to need the other cable still, is it? Let's see. I might not have gotten the cable seated all the way, or the ribbon cable seated all the way. Let's see. Let's try reseating this. I don't Yes, I can. The only thing I do not like about this is the use of the ribbon cable. This is kind of pre-pogo. Okay, yeah, it was just not quite in there all the way. They are butter switches. Which makes me think that what I thought were butter switches, which are these, are actually cheese. So these are cheese switches, and that's why my confusion came in. I thought they were butter. These are HMX. They have that HMX sound that we all love, we all crave. Well, unless you like the cherry scratch, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Here we go. And then this is VIA compatible with a JSON file. And so okay, so we have it back on wired. We'll leave it on wired for now. I should. Jeez. Why are you not doing what you're supposed to be doing? Are you still broken? I might have to factory reset this thing. is registering my control. That is why. Yeah, even without the switch, still registering a control. All right. It is the keyboard. I think I'm going to have to plot that PCB. All right, let's go ahead and we're just going to take this out. We have the brass weight that we installed today in favor over the dusk. I think I might install some silver screws in here because I think it would look nicer with the brass. How are y'all? Did y'all enjoy the stream? Did we learn something about, because I slept through part of it. Like literally, I had to sleep. I haven't been feeling great. Which, let's see, it is in a little cattywampus. Think so? Continue, keep it to 2 and then continue using the... No, I don't think I want that. But you get what what I was gonna go for, though, right? The idea of keeping everything with the brass kind of light. What if I got brass M2 screws for this? Of course, then I would just need 2. Where does one just get 2 brass M2 screws? I know what I need to do. I'm such a dumb bunny sometimes. Can't reset it. It's still getting power. Okay, let's try this again. Still not doing what it should. You're not helping. I know. Well, I'm always looking for other opinions because sometimes they make me think about things in a way that I hadn't before. So it's always nice to hear other people's thoughts. Okay. Yep. Come on, where's my bootloader? Thought it was escape. But apparently not. It should tell me here. Oh, that's just gonna give me that. That's B. Oh, that was for the wired. Where's the wireless? Now I'm gonna put the bottom back on. Where's that stuff coming from? Oh, hey, you can ignore that. Hazel Stubble Ronnie Ray 80 Aideny. All right. it runs in Bluetooth with no problem. Yeah, and now it's running. Apparently I got it. Did we reset it? Let's check the VIA. Yeah, VIA. No, no, you're the wrong one. Oh, because you are also the wrong one. Where did that go? You get to the desktop. Okay, here we go. Ah, it was the tilde. Which I cleared the EEPROM, so now we've got to reset all of our stuff back up. So the configuration that I love to use is having my navigation cluster right here, page up, no, home, page up, and then delete and page down. Then we put our media, previous, next. You're going to be there. NO3. You're going to be media. Play pause. Okay. That's basically all I needed. Hey! Thank you. I am trying. Ran into some frustrations, but I think that we are all over it. All on it. Like, well, you know, things that are on things. If you hadn't heard, so we put in the HMX butters. The NEO65. This is the tri-mode hot swap PCB with, like I said, HMX butter switches. These are the KP Republic, Ghost Judge International Blue Samurai keycaps. So these are clones. I do have actual GMK, but I kind of like the PBT. This is a dual shot PBT keycap, which kind of brings it down a little bit. Let's see here. So yeah, the Ghost Judges are really kind of a nice dual shot PBT if you're looking for it, but they are basically all clones. So if you don't mind that, you know, you get your little international, or which they at the time when I bought this called it the Irish version, which we thought was funny because the Irish version, which comes with the yen symbol on it, and the euro symbol and the pound. But yeah, anyway. I then looked it up later, and they're like, yeah, this is international. I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. So how are you doing today, Maury? Take a drink. Not sponsored by Coke, but I would take that sweet Coca-Cola money if they were to give it to me. All right. Let's see. So we've done the VIA. We have got our board running and it's working, and that's great. We can do one more sound test. Has everybody been keeping up with Patty's ceramic journey? It's a lot of fun. If y'all haven't checked out her TikTok content on her ceramics, you should. Alright, so let's pause the music. This is the NEO65 polycarbonate plate, HMX butter switches, dual shot PBT keycaps, KP Republic Ghost Judge, Irish Edition Samurai keycaps with the brass weight. Oh, actually, I should not be on this page. There we go. So this is, it does have the plate foam and the case foam, no PE sheet. And yeah, I think it, I think there is a reason why I love the NEO65 so much. It was my second one. And for a point of comparison, just because I want to show this off, because this came out so super nice. This is the Salvation. So this actually does have GMK keycaps on it. I built this last week on stream, but then I have since rebuilt it a little bit. This has Gateron smoothies on it with GMK Striker. And so we have our Ghost Judge here. Right? It's such a nice color. Both the keyboard, I mean, if I get that little dust off there. Both the keyboard, which is, this is the their samurai, I think they called it, colorway, plus the keycaps, and I think that they really match very well. And this is foamless. No, this is not foamless. This has a plate foam and a PE sheet. No case foam because this uses the Salvation's leaf springs, which are kind of unique. I think the spacebar is pretty nice. Like, that's muted, and I think I know why that's muted, and I might stop that. Come here, you. Yep. So sometimes, if I am not liking the resonance from a spacebar, I will use automotive dampener in my space bars. Just a little piece of automotive dampener goes a long way. So, and I had not looked, but it was in here, and that was partially because this was previously built with the HE switches. It kind of made the spacebar weird. Trade. There, that's better. Doesn't really need to be dampened. I mean, I'm not hitting it that hard to begin with. But, yeah. And then we have the weight, if you haven't seen it. This is the brass weight, which I installed today, or I installed back today. I had bought it aftermarket from Keepsraw, which is the only place that I found that was selling the weights for the NEO65. I don't know if they still have them. I bought it a while ago. Just for, since we're bringing out the, we won't call them the big dogs, since these are not necessarily that. Don't do that. I also have my tofu redux, which I will be rebuilding within the next, either the next stream or the stream after. I ordered a PCB similar to this one, as far as profile goes, that 7U profile instead of the 64 key for this. But I also ordered a matching alu plate to go with it. So this is a very muted board, and when I rebuild it, it's going to go the opposite direction. I don't even know if you can hear it. This is built more for me to work at work with, hence the reason why it's so muted. But this uses the key snaps, so you can see the bounce that I've got, because I only have key snaps here and here. So this entire middle part is just bounce city. And part of the reason why it's muted like this is the switches. Part of it is the drop DCD indigo keycaps. So these are die-sub PBT keycaps, which are going to be a deeper sound profile combined with the super deep sound, well, the deep sound profile of the KeyGeek Y3X switches that I have installed. Kind of make it deep, which we can go the opposite direction with this. It might be, let's see. I was fiddling with this recently, so let's see. No, oh, I know why. Yes, it is. Because when I was fiddling with it, the PCB snaps came out, and when I put them back, I put this one in 1 over. Why don't we, instead of PCB snaps, let's go with key snaps instead. You stay there. You come down here. Have y'all seen the key snaps and the PCB snaps? We're gonna go with firm. So PCB snaps, or sorry, key snaps, essentially work by going around. But on this board, since I had foams in it, which I will, this also has the brass internal weight. You stay there and do not fall. Since it has the foams in it, it was trying to get around the foams, and that doesn't work as well. But the PCB snaps don't have these extra legs on them, as I'll show you in a second. So they don't have that same issue. Who are you? Thanks for pointing that out, man. I appreciate that. Ew. Not really. The only thing I can think of as far as the difference between the two is that the PCB snaps have basically notches, so that when you put them in cases that have O-ring mounts, they can fit around the O-ring mounts. Cat hair. Ignore that. So I can utilize the existing notches to keep the PCB stable. But obviously the problem with that is that then I have to get this on here at the right place. This is the hardest durometer. It is essentially made of, this particular one is essentially made of rubber. So, PCB snaps, yes. Correct, exactly. Well, maybe I won't use these. I always have a problem with those fitting on there, right? These are the other, this is the silicone 60A. I think this is, yeah. These are the same hardness, they're just a different material. Okay. And so we want one here, one over here. It's always difficult to try to make sure that you get it in the right spot. We will give it our level best. Okay. And then got one here and one here. And if we did everything correct, they should all just slide down. This should go into the hole. Are you too good for your home? By the way, I make a lot of pop culture references if you are unfamiliar with me. There we go. Okay. That's probably going to eventually just scratch the inside of that. I feel as if I missed on both of these. I definitely missed on both of these still. So it's tricky, by the way, to say the least. All right, there you go. Got them all. So now this should sit level, sit flat. You should have your daughter board coming out. I was gonna show you those, but we will go ahead and put this back in for the moment. This top sounds weird though. Hmm. Yeah, I would imagine that with a two-piece board it would be a lot less tricky. Having done this, let's go ahead and now go back to my original thought, and we're going to try a little bit of a livelier switch. These are HMX Chew switches. By the way, if you have not discovered the Rubbermaid take-along containers, they hold about 200 switches per container and cost 2 for $2.50 at Dollar Tree. And stack wonderfully. So this also has a palm plate